Nicole Kidman stands as one of contemporary cinema's most distinctive performers, an actor whose range and emotional precision have shaped both film and television across decades. From art house dramas to large-scale Hollywood productions, her presence has consistently carried a blend of elegance and emotional risk-taking that is rare in modern stardom. She first rose to international attention in the late 1980s and early 1990s, and over time built a career defined not by repetition but by transformation. Whether in psychological thrillers, romantic dramas, or prestige television, she has repeatedly chosen roles that demand vulnerability rather than comfort. Her performances in films such as Moulin Rouge and The Hours demonstrated an ability to merge technical control with emotional openness, while projects like Big Little Lies extended her influence into television storytelling at a time when the medium was undergoing a creative renaissance. Beyond awards and recognition, her legacy is tied to a consistent willingness to explore characters shaped by grief, ambition, fragility, and reinvention. Over time, this body of work has positioned her not simply as a star, but as an interpreter of emotional complexity in modern storytelling, someone whose career reflects both artistic discipline and an evolving understanding of human resilience on screen. Early life, sensitivity, and the formation of an inner world. Nicole Kidman was born in 1967 in Honolulu and raised primarily in Sydney, Australia, in a household shaped by intellectual curiosity and discipline. Her father worked in psychology and her mother in nursing, creating an environment grounded in education and care. Yet despite this stability, Kidman's early personality was marked by extreme shyness and a deep sense of self-consciousness. She has often been associated in biographies with childhood speech difficulties and a reserved temperament, experiences that contributed to her tendency to observe rather than immediately participate in social spaces. This inwardness became a defining feature of her early development. While many children naturally seek visibility, she often gravitated toward activities that allowed expression without verbal pressure. Movement-based disciplines like ballet offered her a form of communication that bypassed speech, helping her build confidence in physical expression. Growing up in Sydney, she navigated adolescence with a quiet intensity, shaped by both sensitivity and imagination. Rather than disappearing into isolation, she gradually developed an internal creative world that would later become essential to her acting craft. This foundation, built on observation, emotional awareness, and introspection, would eventually become one of her greatest artistic strengths, allowing her to access emotional states on screen with rare authenticity and depth. From Australian beginnings to early screen roles, Kidman's entry into acting began in Australia, where she trained and worked in theatre and early film productions. Her first screen appearances came in her teenage years, marking the beginning of a professional journey that would quickly accelerate. Early projects such as Bush Christmas and BMX Bandits introduced her to the discipline of film production, even if they did not immediately position her as a global figure. These roles, however, revealed an emerging screen presence, one defined less by theatrical exaggeration and more by subtle emotional expression. As she continued working in Australian cinema and television, she developed technical confidence and a growing understanding of character psychology. Films like Dead Calm marked a turning point, drawing international attention for her ability to sustain tension and emotional intensity within confined narrative settings. Her performance suggested a maturity beyond her years, signaling that she could transition from local productions to larger international platforms. By the end of the 1980s, she was already positioned on the edge of Hollywood recognition. Her move into American cinema in the early 1990s was not abrupt but the result of steady progression, built on years of disciplined performance work in Australia. This phase established her as a serious actor rather than a conventional rising celebrity. Hollywood breakthrough and artistic expansion. The early 1990s marked Kidman's transition into global recognition, particularly with films such as Days of Thunder, where she appeared alongside major Hollywood talent and gained significant visibility. While the film itself was a commercial production, it introduced her to a worldwide audience and opened the door to more complex roles. Rather than becoming confined to blockbuster cinema, she quickly sought projects that challenged her range and allowed her to explore darker or more psychologically layered characters. Throughout this period, she balanced commercial films with more experimental work, gradually shaping a reputation for unpredictability in role selection. By the mid-1990s, performances in films such as To Die For demonstrated her capacity for satire and psychological complexity, earning critical acclaim and major award recognition. This role, in particular, marked a shift in how she was perceived within the industry. No longer just a rising star, but an actor capable of leading challenging narratives. Her trajectory during this period reflects a deliberate refusal to be typecast. Instead of remaining within the safety of conventional leading roles, she consistently pursued material that demanded emotional precision and artistic risk. This approach became a defining feature of her long-term career evolution. Critical acclaim and the height of cinematic influence. By the late 1990s and early 2000s, Kidman had established herself as one of the most respected actors in global cinema. Her role in Eyes Wide Shut demonstrated her willingness to engage with psychologically complex and demanding material under the direction of Stanley Kubrick. Shortly after, Moulin Rouge showcased her ability to combine performance, music, and theatrical intensity in a stylized cinematic environment, earning widespread acclaim and award nominations. Her performance in The Hours became one of the defining achievements of her career, earning her the Academy Award for Best Actress. In portraying Virginia Woolf, she delivered a performance built on restraint, internal conflict, and emotional fragmentation. This role solidified her reputation as an actor capable of disappearing into character rather than simply performing it. During this era, she became associated with films that prioritized emotional depth over commercial predictability. Her choices reflected an artist increasingly interested in psychological realism, transformation, and narrative risk. The consistency of critical recognition across this period established her as one of the central figures in early 21st century cinema, with a career defined by both range and seriousness of intent, craft, identity, and the emotional architecture of performance. A defining aspect of Kidman's career is her approach to emotional immersion. Rather than relying on fixed stylistic traits, she has built a reputation for reshaping her presence entirely for each role. This adaptability allows her to inhabit characters across vastly different emotional and psychological landscapes. Whether portraying vulnerability, control, grief, or emotional detachment, she approaches performance as a process of reconstruction rather than repetition. Her work often explores themes of identity, isolation, and transformation. Many of her most notable characters exist in states of emotional transition, reflecting internal conflict or suppressed desire. This thematic consistency has contributed to the perception that her career is not merely a collection of roles, but a sustained exploration of human complexity. Over time, she has also expanded into production, seeking greater control over the kinds of stories being told. This shift reflects an evolution from performer to creative architect, shaping narratives both in front of and behind the camera. Her career thus represents not only artistic longevity but also a gradual expansion of influence within the industry's creative ecosystem. Marriage to Tom Cruise and public transformation. Kidman's marriage to Tom Cruise in 1990 placed her under intense public scrutiny, as both were among the most visible figures in global entertainment. Their relationship became a major cultural focal point throughout the 1990s, particularly as they adopted two children, Isabella and Connor, and balanced personal life with demanding professional schedules. During this period, Kidman continued to work steadily, but her private life was frequently shaped by media attention. The marriage ended in 2001, marking a significant personal transition. The separation was widely reported and became one of the most discussed celebrity divorces of the time. Following the separation, Kidman focused heavily on rebuilding both her personal identity and professional trajectory. Her career momentum did not slow. Instead, it entered one of its most critically successful phases shortly afterward. This period is often viewed as a turning point in her life, where personal upheaval coincided with artistic breakthrough. The roles she chose in the early 2000s reflected deeper emotional intensity and a willingness to engage with grief, loss, and psychological complexity, suggesting a convergence between lived experience and artistic expression. Rebuilding through motherhood and personal renewal. After her divorce, Kidman entered a phase of personal reconstruction, balancing motherhood with an already demanding career. Her relationship with her adopted children remained an important part of her life, even as family structures shifted following the separation. During this time, she often focused on maintaining stability while continuing to pursue ambitious film roles. Her work in films such as The Hours, Cold Mountain, and Rabbit Hole during this period reflected a deepening emotional maturity. Many of these performances centered on themes of grief, resilience, and emotional recovery, aligning closely with her own life transitions. This overlap between personal experience and artistic focus contributed to the intensity and authenticity of her performances. Rather than withdrawing from public life, she expanded her creative output, demonstrating that personal change did not diminish professional ambition. Instead, it appeared to sharpen her artistic instincts, allowing her to approach roles with greater emotional clarity and depth. Partnership with Keith Urban and family life. Kidman later formed a relationship with musician Keith Urban, marrying him in 2006. Their partnership is often described as a stabilizing force in her personal life, marked by mutual support and shared commitment to family. Together, they have 2 daughters, Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret, and have maintained a relatively private family life compared to earlier periods of public attention. While both individuals maintain demanding careers, they have often spoken about prioritizing family stability and emotional grounding. Their relationship has also been characterized by periods of professional separation due to touring and filming schedules, yet they have remained publicly committed to maintaining their partnership. This phase of her life is frequently associated with a sense of balance between career and personal fulfillment. It represents a different rhythm from earlier decades, less defined by instability and more by long-term continuity and shared responsibility. Television reinvention and contemporary work. In the 2010s and beyond, Kidman became a central figure in the resurgence of high-quality television drama. Her role in Big Little Lies marked a cultural milestone, demonstrating that cinematic-level storytelling had fully entered the television space. Her performance earned critical acclaim and major awards, while also contributing to broader conversations about domestic violence and female agency. She continued to expand her television presence with projects such as The Undoing and 9 Perfect Strangers, often taking on roles that explore psychological tension and emotional fracture. At the same time, she maintained a presence in large-scale films, balancing commercial projects with prestige storytelling. As a producer, she has also supported narratives centered on complex female experiences, contributing to a broader shift in industry representation. This dual role as actor and producer reflects her evolving position within entertainment as both performer and creative decision-maker. Enduring legacy and artistic continuity, Nicole Kidman's career represents a sustained exploration of emotional transformation across multiple decades of cinema and television. Her body of work reflects a consistent willingness to engage with vulnerability, psychological complexity, and narrative risk. Rather than remaining fixed within a single era or genre, she has continuously adapted to changing artistic landscapes. Her legacy is not defined by the emotional depth she brings to her characters and the consistency of her artistic evolution. Across film and television, she has contributed to shaping modern performance standards, particularly in roles that demand psychological realism and emotional honesty. Ultimately, her career illustrates how longevity in the arts is built not only on visibility, but on reinvention. Through sustained creative effort, she has remained relevant across shifting industry eras, establishing herself as a figure whose work continues to influence contemporary storytelling and performance practice.